with a man, he'll be like, I've had male friends who just don't go on the property ladder. They keep saying they want to save and they don't. And then they spend it on frivolous things. And then when you say to another guy, like, oh yeah, I know he's been saving for a long time, they're like, he's not going to do it. Like, he's awful. He's always spending, da-da. Whereas a woman will stay with that man and be like, right, let's do a savings plan. You can do this. We try for a lot longer before we throw the towel in than men do, I think.
I don't think, the statistics do not support that.
100% they do.
No, they don't.
Because in long-term relationships,
Most
marriages,
women
the men
leave
walk away.
No, 80% of marriages are initiated by the woman.
That's when the woman's got to her. I honestly believe that's when the woman's got to her breaking point, and she's tried and she's tried and she's tried, and the man hasn't picked up on the cues.
So here's the thing. Of course, you're going to think that because you're a woman.
No, I don't think many women wake up and think, do you know what?
That's not.
I've had enough here.
That's not what I'm saying.
They will stay through the bad periods. I think the guys give a lot of more empty promises than women do.
I didn't make a comment on who gives more empty promises, but your statement was that men leave more and that women have more patience and will stick it out throughout the relationship. And there is no statistics that ever supports that ever.
The only reason I think that men would stay and not leave despite being unhappy or not believing in the woman is because they don't think they can get better out there.
No.
If they suddenly woke up tomorrow, body of a god, they would be like, I'm off.
No, I think the reason men stay is because men have a stronger sense of obligation than women do. Women will go, I'm not happy, so I'm leaving. No,
I don't believe this at all.
Really?
I really don't believe.
You don't think women are more loyal to them?
Involved?
Sometimes they leave, but sometimes they'll leave after the kids are done. Because here's the thing: when most women who leave, a lot of women who leave marriages, right? It's because they say, I'm not happy. That's why they leave. When men leave, it's because she cheated, it's because of finances, it's because something happened. It's never asked about whether he was happy or not.
That's because I think in a lot of relationships, the woman's taking care of the man and he doesn't even have the confidence to be on his own. So he's like, oh, if I go out there and now I'm overweight, older, because if you've been married and then you break up, you're probably in your late 30s, 40s, potentially 50s, right? So you're older and they're going to think, I've not got as many options now. It's a lot of hard work.
But that's not true either.
I can drown out the noise of nagging if I get dinner on the table. It's all just easier to stay.
That's not true either, because statistically speaking, when men and women divorce, right, he gets married before she does.
Yeah, because he can't be on his own.
It's not because
he's looking for someone to replace their ex-wife.
Doesn't make sense. How can he have more options and then suddenly he gets a relationship easier than she does? That doesn't make sense.
Because I reckon his standards aren't as high. So I reckon the woman is single, but she's learnt from the mistakes and she's thinking, oh, do you know what? I've been a dog's body for someone. Someone needs to be amazing to sweep me off my feet now. And I can survive by myself. Because for a lot of women, say you've got 3 kids and then you've got a husband who's not really pulling his weight. You've actually got 4 kids. So a lot of women are like, oh, do you know what? It's me and the kids now, or just me.
That is not the majority of marriages. And that is not why most women leave. Most women leave because they say they're not happy and they feel that they can do better.
Yeah, but what's taken them to being unhappy? I think they've tolerated a lot. And if a man was that level,
do you know what the difference is? Men don't go into marriage think the marriage is there to make them happy. That's the difference.
They don't think marriage is to make them happy.
No. But women think marriage is here to make me happy. And marriage has never been about that, ever.
What do you think a marriage is about?
Marriage is about commitment and duty that you've made to somebody and the family you're going to build together. Marriage has never, ever, ever been about making people happy. That is the romantic and Disney films that we've grown up on. And this is a really big reason why the women of old didn't leave, because they understood it was a commitment and obligation. But people today, they leave because they're not happy.
But I applaud that. If you're not happy,
well, then don't get married.
Stay. Well, I'm not married, but
no, but then I don't think people should get married. How can you say vows? For better or for worse, for richer or poorer, till death do us part. But then you get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm not happy, and you're just gonna leave.
But then, I'm not the biggest.
Then don't get married.
I'm not the biggest believer in marriage for that reason.
I would agree,
because I think if you how can you make a promise to be in love with someone? That's fleeting. So what you're promising, and you're getting the government involved in it, is that I'm going to stay and be together with you forever. Mm-hmm. So I don't look at people that then go through divorces as failing at marriage. I think that it would have taken a lot of guts to go through a divorce. And I think women really, really think long and hard about it before they go through a divorce. I don't think they wake up and go, oh, I'm not happy, get me the divorce papers. I don't think it's that at all. I think they've tried. I don't
think they wake up one morning, decide they're unhappy and then divorce. But what I think is they they think that the marriage is there to make them happy. And so when it's not making them happy, they think it's wrong for them.
But isn't there something, it's different if they're putting their happiness above the happiness of their partner. But do you think it's
Everybody does that.
I don't know if that's true.
I think that's true.
I know. I think a lot of women suffer in some level, whether it's financial, emotional, to let the man shine at certain stages. And I think it's fair if the woman then gets her turn to shine. But I think
What
a
do you
lot of
mean by
women,
shine?
like they get to put their career, the man puts their career first, or
But women
they
women choose men who are more ambitious than them. You said that's the kind of man you want to choose anyway.
that's the sort of man I want. But
Most women want that.
yeah, a lot of women want and expect the man to earn more. But that's also because
Well, yeah.
But I would also say that is because society, because there's a lot of women that don't believe that they want to be like, as a society, we imply that, you know, oh, it's unfair and it's easier for men to get opportunities to be successful. But I think there's a lot of women that actually don't harvest the need to be successful. Not all women, but they're not looking to be the provider. They think a lot of women will think of their career to their 30 and then think, well, that will be the stage probably when I have kids and I'll take a step back.
Yeah.
So therefore the man they want to more excel. But that doesn't mean that they, I can't believe that you think that the women just leave if they're unhappy. Like, why?
No,
would
I said more women leave because they're unhappy.
Why would
than
you
men.
stay? Yeah, but why would you stay if you're unhappy? What? Who are you trying to prove it to?
Because
the priest.
Well,
Okay.
So here's what I would say. Here's what I would say. Right, outside of exceptional circumstances like abuse, etc.
Yeah.
If you would leave your partner because you are unhappy,
Mm-hmm.
then you should not be getting married.
But is there a time frame on the unhappiness? I absolutely appreciate that marriages will have highs and lows.
Yeah.
So you're unhappy for 1 year, you have 2 years of happiness, you're unhappy for another year. Okay. But at what point are you who are you trying to prove it to? You're just going to stay unhappy?
No, so here's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Don't get married.
And do you think that it's fair on a man to be with someone who's unhappy? Are you going to be happy if you know your spouse is unhappy?
So
long term?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like men have a stronger sense of obligation, which is why they stay. Regardless of whether they're happy or not.
I think good men do. I mean, look how loyal men are to football teams. But
men will die for their team. I don't mean literally in football, but like even back in the day, right? This is why brides.
It's tribal, isn't it?
Yeah, but this is why war brides are a thing, right? Because men will die for their tribe, right? The imperative for the masculine is to conquer, right? But the imperative for the feminine is to survive.
Yes. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
This is why war brides was a thing. When a tribe will kill the other tribe or whatever, right? They will kill all the males, including the boys, and they would take the women and the daughters as war tribes, right? This is why it's easier for women to assimilate into different cultures, etc., right? Because it helps them survive, right? But men's imperative is to conquer. If he says, "Hey, I'm fighting for my tribe and I will die on this hill for my team," that's what men will do, right?
And like we said, risk takers, right? Inherently a risk taker.
100%. So as a woman, if her priority is if she believes that the marriage is there to fulfill her happiness, well, of course, it makes sense that when it's not doing that, she thinks this marriage isn't right for me, I'm going to leave, right? In which I would say the meaning of marriage was not to make you happy. It was a commitment and obligation you made before Christ, before God, before the world, which is why you have a wedding, right? It's a promise that you make. That's why it's called a vow.
Yeah. But also, we're implementing the same ideologies now then that existed when women had no power. So when women were getting married generations or decades ago, it wasn't always really a choice of the woman. The woman walked down the aisle by her dad, the man who owns her, and then handed over to another man, then abandons her name and identity, takes the man's name, and then for generations had no financial power to even be independent or even consider being independent.
Yeah, but to say that women had no power in history is wrong though.
No, but in marriage, it was heavily weighted on the man. The power dynamic in a marriage.
Well, he was the head of the household, yes, but most women would want that. Most women still want that now.
A lot of women back then couldn't even imagine equality because it just wasn't an option.
But I don't think there is equality in any relationship.
No, but if you're saying why women are going, why would they want their happiness to be important now, and generations ago women accepted that they weren't happy and they put up with it. I don't think that's a success previously.
What I'm saying is that prior to modern day, women didn't expect marriage to make them happy. It was a duty and role that they fulfilled within their family and within society and their community.
Yeah.
That's how men saw it too.
Yeah.
Okay. Men still see it that way. but women don't.
But then I don't think, okay, that's fine.
Sure.
But then I think we should applaud the women for putting their happiness, for valuing their happiness. And I think
That's
men
fine.
should value their happiness too.
So here's what I would say. If you would leave a marriage because you're unhappy, then you should not be getting married.
That's fair enough. Divorce exists for a reason though, right?
Yeah, not the way that's got us.
So, I would have more respect for a woman who left because she was unhappy, significantly unhappy. I don't think women just, I could be happier, so I'll flee off with another person. I think they really sit there and really sit with their emotions and consider, I maybe should
Do you
leave.
think it's okay for her to do that with her child?
Yeah,
like stop
I think
being a
it's
parent
healthier
'cause she's unhappy?
Yeah, I think it's healthier for a child to have two happy parents than to have a really unhappy mum who stayed for the sake of the children.
No,
Yes,
so what
do.
I mean, do you think it's okay for her to disavow being a mother because motherhood is making her unhappy?
But she's not abandoning being a mother. She's
No, but I'm saying
leaving the marriage.
No, but some people, men and women, right, will like abandon parenthood because it's not making them happy.
But that's very different.
What's the difference?
Abandoning, if you've chosen to be a parent, I think you have a lifelong obligation to that child.
Why is it lifelong to you?
Because you've brought them into the world and they're incredibly vulnerable, and it is your responsibility to provide for them and hopefully teach them enough that they can provide for themselves.
Okay, so
right?
why do you think marriage is not a lifelong commitment?
Because marriage
as well?
is a decision between. I say
So
I'm not
is
the
a
biggest
child.
fan of marriage. No,
That's
no.
a child's
Yeah,
that's
but
a
you're
decision
not.
too.
Listen. It depends on the child. If the child becomes very toxic and not, has lots of issues like addiction and things, sometimes parents feel that they have no choice but to leave them to their own devices,
that's
or if they become
completely
a
wrong.
murderer
That
or
is wrong.
something.
That is wrong.
If they were like a mass murderer,
That's still your child. And this is the difference, right? I think this is a difference of how a lot of men who will stay see compared to women who won't stay.
but then
We have a strong sense of obligation. I don't care if my child's a murderer, if he's a psychopath. I'm responsible for being his father.
But
Do you see what I'm saying?
I do, absolutely.
Regardless of how happy or unhappy it makes me.
I absolutely. But I will say that I imagine more mothers stand by their bad sons than more fathers do.
I think their fathers would
No,
discipline
come on.
their... No, wait. I think when a father's around, he would discipline his son more. Fathers tend to discipline
but that
their
doesn't mean
sons
that
more.
maybe, but that
Yes.
there's a lot of absent fathers in the world, right?
I agree, but I think a lot of the absent fathers is because a large portion of women choose to have children with men who never want to be fathers in the first place.
But that's putting the responsibility onto the woman. That's not.
Well, why would you choose a man who? Why would you have a child with a man who doesn't want to be a father?
But that's. I agree. But I don't
Right.
think that is why most men are absent, because it takes two to tango. It takes two to fertilize.
No. I know it takes two to. I'm not saying. Look, I personally believe like if you're a man and you have a child unwantingly so, you should be a father to that child regardless.
And a lot of people have pregnancies that weren't planned.
Yeah, but women have the right to abort. There is in the
But
Western
if a
world.
woman's decided not to abort, that
Then
should
that's her
also be applauded. Like that's
That's
as in
fine. Oh,
she's
we should
chosen
have-
to go through with the pregnancy.
100%. We
and do
should
it by
absolutely
herself.
applaud her choice regardless, right? That she has the choice.
Mhm.
But at least in the Western world, if there's a child born into this world, it's because she chose to do that. Here's the difference, right? If every woman, rest in peace, Kevin Samuels, if every woman said, I will never have a child outside of marriage, right? I will marry before I carry, right? You would see the rate of absent fatherhood drop significantly.
Yeah, but we can't put that onus on the woman. As in,
What
men,
do you mean?
Because
she decides if the child comes into the world or not.
so you're saying that women shouldn't have sex outside of marriage.
I'm saying
But then,
no.
then what it should be is people shouldn't have sex outside of marriage, because the man is just as responsible.
What I'm saying, you said that there's a lot of absent fathers.
Yeah.
And I'm saying the reason there's a lot of absent fathers is because there are a lot of women who have children with men who never wanted to be fathers in the first place. It was an accident. She got pregnant, etc. Maybe she even trapped him, right? That happens. What I'm saying is, if a man marries you, right, that means he is committed to you.
I don't think that a man can ever be trapped, because if you're having sex with someone, you've got to appreciate that you could fertilize that person. So therefore, you've got to appreciate that risk is on the
smarter than that.
No, that risk is on the table. Every single time you have sex, there is a small percentage that you could impregnate that person.
Wait.
So you have to take that
So let me ask
responsibility.
you a question. So if a woman lies about being on contraception,
I
right, and she gets pregnant,
I think if you're
you don't
having,
think that's her trapping him?
no, because I don't think
Bruh,
that
come
if I think if you're having casual sex,
She lied to him.
if you're having casual sex, you should be using condoms. You shouldn't just be relying on a woman taking
Hold
medication.
on.
She could be poorly, and the pill wasn't 100%
Hold on.
effective.
No. I'm saying if she lied to him, you do know, right? You do know. If, for example, a man says that he's wearing a condom and he isn't, and he has sex with her, you do know that's rape, right?
Yeah, that's illegal.
Okay,
yeah.
so he lied about using contraception.
Neither should be lying about using
No,
contraception.
hold on.
If he's using contraception, then the risk, if a man is insistent that every time he has sex he uses a condom, then the onus is, it's less likely that a woman's going to get unintentionally pregnant.
Why do you say if a man lies about contraception, it's his fault, but if a woman lies about contraception, it's still his fault?
No, I'm not saying that. Neither should be lying about contraception.
No, but when I said if she lies about contraception to get pregnant, you said that's not her trapping.
I didn't understand that was your point. I didn't understand this point.
Yeah, so if she lies about contraception because she wants to have a baby, I don't
think this is happening as much as men are thinking it's happening.
Amy, I'll tell you from first-hand experience. 2 women have tried to trap me alone, and I'm not like some superstar athlete or anything like that. So to say that it doesn't happen is just plainly not true.
But were you using condoms with those 2 women?
Yes, but then they tried to say that they went on contraception, and one of them wasn't.
But if you're always using a condom, then it's much more unlikely that you'll get trapped.
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is if a woman lies about contraception, right, because she wants to get pregnant by a man, that is her trapping him.
But the contraception you're talking about is the pill.
Or the coil, whatever it is.
But then why don't you just insist that if you know you don't want to be a baby daddy, why don't you insist that you're not going to have unprotected sex?
Hold on. I'm not disagreeing with you with methods or ways to mitigate that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is if she lies to him and gets pregnant by him, right, because he had sex with her under false pretenses, that is her trapping him. And then if she gets pregnant, he can't even decide to say well, I didn't want to be a father.
Listen, blows my mind that men even have casual sex, because the risk is that you're going to have to pay child maintenance for the rest of your life.
Why are you so hesitant to put accountability on the woman in this situation?
Because I don't think it's fair to say that anyone's trapped. I think if you've both, the onus seems to be on the woman here, that she's trapping, she's doing this, she's doing that. No,
I'm saying if she lies to him, she is trapping him.
But no contraception is 100%.
No, I didn't say that. You're missing the point. If she lies to him, she is manipulating him.
She shouldn't lie. Of course she shouldn't lie to anybody.
But that's her trapping him. How do you not see that?
I'm not saying, no, I think you're twisting words here. She shouldn't lie about being on contraception. However, if you're using a condom, then the risk should be significantly lower anyway.
Amy, you're talking about mitigating that. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Right? That is a way men can mitigate that.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm saying if she lies to him, right, because he trusts her and she manipulates him to then trap him with a baby, that is her trapping him. And he has no say or power after she's pregnant.
But then if men are having sex with women they don't want to have children with, then they must understand that is a risk, because the woman does. I absolutely, if I had a son and a daughter, I would be very worried about the son having casual sex, because I would think if the woman he has casual sex with gets pregnant, she makes the decision if she keeps it or not.
So then,
be more considered with who you have sex with.
I agree. So then, does that mean we should ban abortion then? And arguably, I'm just going from what you said. Well, I agree with you. If technically speaking, if we're speaking in absolutes, if a man doesn't want to get a woman pregnant, then he shouldn't have sex with her, period. So if a woman doesn't want to be pregnant, she shouldn't have sex, period, either.
Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, sex is there to create life. So we do as a society need to respect it more. That was my opening point.
No, I don't disagree with you.
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then we need to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.